everybody. Welcome to Soar and Pair, Why Not Together, episode 39.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. So as a reminder, Soar and Pair is soaring together to explore new adventures while inspiring others to create their own.
You memorized it.
I did.
That's great.
It's only 39 episodes later.
I'm usually the one introducing. I'm like, you do it. So
You do it.
you do it. So hi, everybody. And we start out with a little bit of an apology. We skipped over last week because we're always very open and just things came up. And instead of scrambling around at the last second, we just didn't have the time.
Just did not have the time.
It may happen once in a while. We try to do it every week, but
It's the first time we've actually missed like that, but we do apologize. Yeah.
it's a swing and a miss. But we have 3 strikes in baseball, right?
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about something we've been going through, which is staying engaged at work during all the stressful changes that are happening. But before we get into
I know
that,
something about that.
yeah. Before we get into that, though, let's do a little update on what's going on in your business and your website.
Exciting stuff. Things are moving right along. The website is actually up. It's still under construction, but the person who is helping me take care of it is who's helping me build it is doing the fine-tuning tweaks this week, and it will be up in the next few days for sure. It seems like I always say that, but this time it's true.
And just to remind everybody, it's sandysoren.com. We left the SEN off on the end. sandysoren.com.
sandysoren.com. If you click into it right now, you'll see the construction page, but you can still go through the different tabs and take a look if you want to. Just know that it is changing just a little bit.
Right, and she'll be taking appointments and
Yes, but I'll be taking appointments. The calendar is, being tested actually right now. And so you'll be able to go in right there from the website to make appointments. So I'm super excited. Things are moving right along.
am I
As
going to have to
planned.
make an appointment to get your attention now, or is oh man, I'm just like everybody else.
No, I don't think so. Not even close.
No, it's going to be. We're really excited about this. It's been a long time coming. I know we've talked about it in several different episodes,
Yeah.
but through all the
It's a
delays
process.
and yeah, it's still happening.
Yeah, it's a process, and it was a little bit. It was a much bigger job than I had anticipated when I first stepped into this venture, and then I quickly realized I needed some expertise and help. So, yeah.
It's always good to recognize when something is way over your head.
It's kind of, I like to say it's kind of like driving my car. I don't really care how it works. I just want it to drive. And I'm kind of finding it's the same with the website. I don't really do as well with the back half of that stuff. And I just want it to work for me. So, yeah, I'm just one of those people.
I think a lot of us are that way. We
Yeah.
want to turn on the computer and just have it work, and when it doesn't,
Like magic.
what do we do?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's exciting, and you'll be taking appointments and starting to help people. And
Yeah, I'm still taking appointments right now through my Facebook page, but everything will be switching over to the website here in the next few days.
the Facebook page will point you to the website.
It
too,
will
so-
point you to the website,
So-
exactly. So everything's kind of linked up.
So as a reminder, polarity, craniosacral, but you're an intuitive counselor.
Right.
Half-hour and hour sessions. I think even an hour and a half if somebody, and once
For like combination type session, if that's what you're after. Yeah, a little bit of everything on there as far as the services we offer, and just so that you can kind of fine-tune whatever it is you're looking for.
Right, that's exciting stuff. As far as an update for me goes today, I did have the opportunity with my niece, who is a elementary school music teacher, in Huntington Beach, California. Her name is Elena McDonald.
Mhm.
Well, hi, Elena,
Hi.
if you're looking at this episode. But she chose me as a little series she's doing for her kindergarten to fifth graders called Everyday Heroes, and she interviewed me, and she's gonna put some clips of me playing the piano, and it's just all about my musical ability. And I thought it was a really cool thing, so I'm excited to see how it turns out.
Yeah, it was great meeting her.
Yeah. She's awesome people, and so it's good to do that. I also put out We Are One, the song We Are One, I should say, on YouTube, and our friend Lori Elward, who we're working with closely, put this beautiful PowerPoint together of all these different faces all over the world to this 7-minute song, and it's my latest download on the YouTube
She did a
channel.
great job. She did a really great job.
Right, so check it out if you'd like to on the Jim Sorensen YouTube channel, but only after you've watched all the wonderful words of wisdom that come pouring forth in this broadcast. And we got 2 weeks to catch up on, so we better do a darn good job.
We better
here.
dig deep, is what you're saying. Okay.
Digging something deep. I don't know if it's a grave or what, but so yeah, things are moving along for us. We're really excited, and we're doing all these things after hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then we both jump back into our jobs. And how would you characterize the last week or two? Because you had been off work, people who didn't know, for a little while with some of your health issues, which are better.
Yeah.
But you came back to work, kind of got your feet under you, and then
I walked right back into the eye of the storm.
and,
Yeah.
And what is that storm?
Chaos. It's chaotic and challenging.
Right.
Very challenging. There's a lot going on that trickles down from above that we have no control over, and so you got to toe the line and do what you got to do. But even when it doesn't make sense,
right. And
it's hard. It's really hard. Yeah, especially right now. With all the changes that are going on. Anyway, it's more of the same. Everybody's adapting and trying to find a new way of doing things, I think.
Yeah, I think every aspect of every company, job, government has had to navigate through a different way of doing business because of COVID.
Right.
Which before there was always a lot of changes, but I think, starting last March, there's been changes on steroids, right? Just huge changes. And not all of them necessarily the most effective or the right changes.
Right.
Because people are trying to figure out how to, do business with still the, pandemic going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a tall order anyway, right?
Right, and I think everybody can relate to the fact that when, as you said, a change trickles down and you're like, where did they come up with that?
Mm-hmm.
And why?
And recognizing that we may not see everything that does make sense eventually, but some of it just doesn't make sense at all.
Well, and I have a upper middle management job in a government entity, as I've shared with you before, and I think the challenge with middle management, if I can put it nicely, is you have people under you that you're trying to support and help. You have people over you that don't necessarily allow you to make some of the choices and decisions you feel are best. So you're in between. You've got to get permission for a lot of things.
Right.
And if you don't agree with something, but it's the choice that's been made from the top, of course you have to share it in a positive way, and
you even act like you agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
put on that face of hey, this is what we're gonna try, and so that begins to wear on a person. And I think what you and I felt this last week or two was just the stress, and I think a lot of people can agree with this, and the burden of all the many changes.
Yeah, we're not alone in this.
Yeah.
We know that.
And we were thinking, what are we going to talk about? And it was like, well, of course, this is what we're going through right now.
It's what we're going through right now, and both of us got hit really hard with a lot of these things we're talking about, without going into great detail. This last week or two, we got hit hard with them. And so we started thinking, we know if it's hitting us this hard, it's hitting all of you this hard. How do you navigate through that? How do you get through your day and stay positive, or at least sane?
That's a great question. So, and how do you not let the stress of a job, drag you down?
Right.
Become
bitter.
Not only during the day, but also afterwards, in the evening, and the weekends. So, we were talking a little bit about some of the things that we tried to do, and one of the first things we talked about is, why are we doing the job? Remembering
why am I here? Yes. What drew you to it? That's just being tongue-in-cheek about it, but yeah, seriously, what drew you to it in the first place? What was the draw? Where was the passion? Finding the passion for that initial role.
Right, and so you've been a nurse for over 15 years, 16, 17
ish. Yeah.
Years. So why did you become a nurse? I'll throw that at you, and then you can.
Because I wanted to help people.
Okay.
Always because I wanted to help people. I've always been a healer in one regard or another, and I love connecting with people and helping where I can.
And so when you're in the mire of all these changes right now, and you've been doing this for a while, and you've done several different types of nursing in the hospital, out there in the field, and home health and hospice, and specialties, and now you're working at home, and you're a full-time case manager nurse. How do you remember that in the midst of the craziness that you're going through?
One person at a time. I have to remind myself sometimes because I got bogged down with the have-tos and the tasks of the job, and there's so many, and they're constantly changing. It's this moving target, and so just bringing it back to one person at a time and connecting with that one person. Nobody else exists.
Right.
And in spite of, how do you say this? In spite of everything coming down from above, I just really have to stop and focus on that one person so that I can give them everything I have. Otherwise, I get bogged down by the details.
Okay, that's good advice.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with that. A lot of times there's 10 things we have to do, and it seems overwhelming. It's just, how do you eat an elephant one piece at a time? So it's just focusing on the next thing. For me, we were bogged down with meetings. I mean, usually my 8 or 9 hour day is a couple hours of meetings, maybe sometimes 3 or 4, but there was a week where it seemed like every day was 6 to 8 hours of meetings, and because I work 2 days from home and 3 days at the office. I think Sandy saw me like on meeting overload. I
couldn't believe it. It was a bit much. Yeah.
And everybody was talking about it, and they've since adjusted. They heard us, but it's remembering why I still do what I do, and it's also a similar thing to help people.
Yeah.
Paying out unemployment benefits is critical for families right now. So I always remind myself, even in this upper middle management sandwich that I find myself in, it's still, what can I do to help the people that are really doing the work? What can I do to remove those blocks and help them, get that work done so people are paid unemployment and the economy is helped, and so I try to step back and remind myself of that, but it was certainly a challenge.
A lot of moving parts you're talking about there. Yeah.
Yeah, and
How to
when
boil it down.
I almost envy you because you're on the front lines helping the clients. And that's one thing I miss with management is you're kind of behind the scenes setting policy, meetings and more meetings, and more.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And it's one of the reasons why, you know, being a manager wasn't necessarily always my goal. I really enjoyed helping individuals. So when I get a chance to help individuals, which I still do on occasion, I just jump at the chance, because that's why I still
Of course.
love doing what I do in terms of the purpose of it. I just think we get lost in the minutia of all the, you know, the changes, the meetings, and so, you know, that becomes heavy.
So how do you, when you're feeling the heaviness of it, how do you get inspired? How do you find that inspiration to keep going instead of succumbing to that?
Well, honestly, sometimes I succumb.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if I'm
Can't
gonna
help it, right?
if I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't always happen. I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know,
Yeah.
I've had it up to here. So there are days where I'm like, but I think is stepping back and giving myself some space to say, you know what? And I do this, you know, so utilizing those breaks, and sometimes it's very difficult when it's one thing after another. You know what I mean? Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
What are you laughing about?
You're using your hands a lot.
So those on the podcast can't see, but apparently I am on fire tonight with my hand gestures. Thank you for the feedback.
Sorry about that. I just, from that side, it starts to get
distracting.
Well,
and it's true when I do presentations.
I do
sometimes I have to tie my hands down.
Neither one of us can talk without our hands, so yeah.
It's kind of funny, pot calling the kettle black here.
Exactly. I admit it.
But you know, getting back to how do I get inspired, I think it's stepping back sometimes from the chaos and just taking a big deep breath. You know, I know that you're really a stickler to utilizing your whole lunch, and I don't always necessarily in a manager position get that, but carving out that time.
Yeah, I try to. I didn't always. I used to, because you know, the more you do, the more it's almost expected. So I used to just keep go, and I would sometimes work straight through my lunch, and it was breaking me down. It really was not good. And so now I make myself take an hour. I could take a half hour, but I take an hour and just really decompress and walk away. I have to.
And I think maybe because you and I have been in the workforce a while, we realize that you could go and never do enough.
Right.
So
the more you do, the more you get.
You're just going to burn yourself out and, you know, stress yourself out, have a health event.
Right.
And I think it's really, really important talking about this, not to take your work home with you. And of course, I don't mean those working from home, but when you're done with work, be done with it.
Yeah. And really, I think if you're able, not everyone's able, but if you're able to keep your office space, if working from home isn't something you normally do, if it's a newer thing, really setting your office space away from everyone else so that when you leave work, you can truly leave.
Right.
You know, I'm lucky enough right now to have an office that I can close the door. And when I leave for the day, I really rarely go back in there. I try not to.
That's good. I mean, and I think that's kind of break not only during the day, but afterwards. You know, you and I are big proponents of just chilling, you know, whether you're playing a game on your phone, whether we're watching TV, whether we're doing something else, is just part of our mental health. We just, you know, you just can't do it 7 days a week. Or you could, but at what cost?
At what cost? And, you know, you can only go for so long. yeah, just getting that time to step away is really super important, and finding that work-life balance. And it may change over time, of course, and that's okay, but just constantly readjusting to making sure that you're taking care of yourself in the midst of the chaos, because it's not a luxury.
Right. And no job is worth your well-being or your health. But this is also being engaged in the job. So we're not talking about not caring.
No, gosh, no, not at
But
all.
another important thing is having people to talk to,
Yes.
coworkers, and how does that help you?
For me, well, yeah, especially, if I have something that I need to collaborate with one of my teammates, then I'll, reach out in that way. Or if I just need a moment to be heard, then I'll reach out. And I think that's really important, is to find those people that you can reach out to, as long as it doesn't become a bitch and gripe session all the time.
Right. Because you have those that are just, and those that bring in the rumor mill. Did you hear? The worst possible news.
Yeah. Well, if you're constantly griping about something and never finding a solution, or finding yourself griping a lot and never, finding that possible solution for yourself, then you know that an adjustment should probably be made.
Well, and you find yourself stuck in the mire of just complaining.
Right.
And I think all of us have done that. And when we catch ourselves, we're like, okay.
But it's not serving you anymore. And so, eventually it will only make things, and I speak from experience on this one, it only makes things worse.
Right.
So, what about you?
Yes, it definitely, I think having the connections at work where you can just, because establishing those relationships, you have friends, you have individuals that, it doesn't all necessarily have to be negative, but you can also share ideas or what's going on,
Exactly.
or how are you doing, and keeping those connections, I think, is a really good way to, what people call networking, but it really is,
support people.
Right. It's broadening your vision, because we can only see so much. So when you have other people look at the same situation, they may see something we don't see, or they may explain a change to us that we were like, this is so ridiculous. But they may say, but
look at it this way.
Yeah, look at it this way.
Right.
So a lot of times, I think, just as human beings, even though we're constantly surrounded by change, our bodies are everything's always in constant change. Let's just be honest, whether it's
tough.
We're getting a day older every day, or, even before the pandemic.
Maybe you.
Oh,
I'm not aging.
Must be nice. So other than Sandy, the rest of us are getting older, but we're constantly surrounded by change, and yet we're so resistant of it. We're so scared of it. And it's just an interesting dichotomy
it's uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah. And so when that happens in the workplace, and been in a routine a long time, a lot of people are like, no, even if it really needs to happen, it's really time to put away the old way of doing something. And
that's where we have to be flexible, and like I say, check it at the door, because we do have to be flexible for change, but we also, it's hard.
Well, and I think also if it's tough where you're working right now, the grass isn't necessarily greener elsewhere.
Right.
It's tough everywhere right now.
Yes, it is. Just kind of, finding the little nuggets that get you through, finding the ways to bring up your mood, and having that focal, right?
Yeah, don't you have something at your desk?
I do. I actually have a prayer that I also use when I'm doing the energy work, and I have it posted up above my desk, and it's just about staying truly helpful and not getting too stuck in it, just being where I need to be in each moment and being helpful in the best way I can. It helps me.
Yes. and I see all kind of positive things, little pictures. I think I'm in there somewhere, and
Yes, you are.
you know,
More than one. Yeah.
So when I had set up my telework desk downstairs, I remember you had put a couple stickers that said, "Don't let it get to you. You're a rock star." And it was really cool because when I'm in the midst of something, I look at that sticker and go, "Oh yeah!" It just little things can really, really help.
Yes. Yes. Little things can make a big difference in supporting each other and just, you know, like you said, one bite at a time. Right.
And then I think the other thing is, and this is what 2020 I think did to all of us, is breaking us out of our comfort zones. You know, again, the resistance to change, but really, how do we just say, okay, I think I'm the one getting in the way right now. I want to blame something else, but it's really me.
And that's okay. You know, we all have those moments, and then, you know, recognizing that you're the one getting in the way, that's progress. Nothing wrong with that.
Right. So, in managing change, it's all about, you know, and that stress that you feel, I think it's really important to, I think we were talking about this before, vent it, to let it out, to, you know, that's why we have the breaks, that, you know, to not keep it inside.
Right. Right. Yeah. Letting it go. Yeah. You got to process it through your body and let it go. Because if you hold on to it, as we know, it will cause all kinds of dis-ease in your body, and it can lead to, you know, health events down the road. The stress is a huge factor in health events, and so really the self-care, like I said earlier, it's not a luxury, it is a requirement. So please take care of yourselves.
Right. And it's really about how well are we adapting to the fast-paced changes going on, not only at work, but in the world, and everything that's happened. It's learning how to navigate and adapt in a way that it's like, we could complain about it all we want, but you know, we just need to go a different direction now.
Yeah.
We need to change our a way of thinking.
Yeah, and if, you know, we all need to complain for a moment. Lord knows Jim and I were doing that this last week. But at some point, if it's no longer helpful, then, you know, okay, how do I take this and spin it to find the positive within it? How do I lift myself up while still in it and get through this in a better way?
And I think you mentioned something that's really important. We do bounce a lot off of each other, if you can't tell, in our podcast. So, you know, when Sandy's having a moment, as she puts it, you know, how was your day? That's all I need to ask her.
Here it comes.
But that's good, because I'd rather her express it and let it out and work through it, and then let it go. You know, if it's still 10:30 at night and she's still going on, I may want to at some point, you know, ease her into another subject. That's never happened. So
it could, but yeah, no.
No, and I think, you know, you've done that for me as well. And when good things happen, so it's having that person in your life that you can share, and that you can kind of bounce off your feelings of the day, because the bottom line is we all need to work. And some of us are in organizations that, you know, maybe a little challenged with what's going on and maybe not making the best decisions. So the more of us that can, you know, hang in there and help steer that organization in a better way, the better it is.
Yeah, and it's about, you know, being the change that we want to see. We may not all have the ability or the power to create that kind of change in large corporations, but we can do it on a small microcosm, you know, within our own world. Make the changes you can so that you can bring things up, and sometimes it's amazing how things are contagious.
And that's really my goal, talking about my job as a middle manager, is what kind of environment can I set in with the people that report to me, and I allow them all the things that we're talking about to open up, to vent, to explore ideas. But at the end of the day, they know that I'm appreciative of them, and we figure out a better way to try to navigate. And so that to me is really what I feel my purpose is, as in the role that I'm at, that I wasn't expecting to be at, but here I am. So I'm learning those lessons. But we wanted to end with a quote from Mr. Darwin, or as I like to call him, Charles Darwin. That's really good about dealing with change, and it's this: it is not the strongest or the most intelligent who will survive, but those who can best manage change.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's perfect for today.
Yeah. So continuing to manage the change that's happening, sometimes on a daily basis, sometimes it seems like every hour. It can be overwhelming. Yeah. So hang in there.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Hang in there, guys.
That's what we've been telling each other. Hang in there, sometimes by our fingernails.
Yeah.
So hope you enjoyed our discussion. I do want to end with a Sandyism. And I've said this before, there's a limited amount of vocabulary in Sandyisms, but sometimes they're born right in front of my eyes. And so right before we began the broadcast, she was straightening up something in the room and talking about it being in disarray. She said, it's Wonkified. And I'm like, what?
I was like, well, this got Wonkified.
So what is Wonkified?
It's discombobulated, screwed up, not right.
I would agree, because I've heard you say
wonky.
cattywampus before, which but Wonkified. So, folks, there's a brand new one I heard.
It's the state of being wonky. Okay.
I like it, even a definition.
Yeah.
So there's something new, even every day, that sometimes comes out of your mouth that I've never heard before.
Right. It just came out.
We've been giggling about it since the beginning of this.
That's funny that you used that. I should have known.
Well, I've made it easy. But we'd like to thank you all for being patient with us. And we're back in the saddle, and we will be back here every week. And if we aren't, don't worry, we will come back the following week. Just in case. But,
if for whatever
whatever reason. But remember that you can see our faces on our YouTube channel, so please subscribe, leave comments with us on Soar and Pair, Why Not Together. Also, our podcast listeners, we appreciate that very much. You continue to subscribe through all the platforms, through iTunes and Google Podcasts and Podchaser and Stitcher and all those wonderful podcasts. Continue to give us feedback. We appreciate that, and we'll continue. Ideas of what you want us to talk about, and we will keep coming back and yapping our jaws about something.
Have a great week, you guys.
Thanks,
I hope
everyone.
You're doing well. Take care.